Hey, Highland County Real Estate, Randy Butler here, Classic Real Estate. We have Mr. Rick Williams here from Rick Williams Auction Company. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm
Great.
fine.
Hey, one of the things we offer here at Classic Real Estate is also an auction service, which is done by Mr. Rick Williams. So, and you own your own auction company, but you work under the umbrella of Classic Real Estate.
Sure. Yeah, you gotta have to have that, and have a broker's license, of course, here with Classic, and been at it a long time, of course.
You've been doing this, what, 5 or 6 years? Something like that. Plus 30 years. How many years have you done it?
This is starting 42.
42 years in the auction. Awesome.
Yes, I started in '77 getting a real estate license, which was that, and then got an auctioneer's license in actually in 1978. So actually, as far as the auction's concerned, 41, because I started with the real estate a year ahead of time. But yeah, and I got a broker's license in '87, and been here all my whole life. I'm not afraid to tell my age, Randy.
You're a lot older than me.
I know. But, I was born in 1955, and I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah. As far as the auction, it's always fascinated me to auctions. I know I used to drive a truck, and I rode with a guy. I rode with a guy clear from New York, and he tried to teach me how to auctioneer. And we had 15, 20 hours at a semi, and I never could do it. It's a lot harder to do, but I know there's a lot more to it than that. You do a lot of different auctions, land auctions, home auctions, personal property. Just tell a little bit about what you do.
Well, just a little bit of everything, as far as farm machinery to selling some real estate at auction, of course. This area here has been a situation where, especially estates, you've seen a little more of that. And you don't find it in the city whatsoever, but you do find it here in the countryside, so to speak, a little more. And where auctions have been, you can look back at all the auctioneers, way before me, way back. And, they just had a lot of farm auctions of selling personal property and like I said, selling some real estate too. So it's fun. It's been good to me. I tell people though, not everything needs to be sold at auction. Not everything probably needs to be listed. And I think there is a little bit of difference. As you know, being in the business, real estate sales are pretty hot right now.
Yeah.
They're extremely hot. And I've seen that in my career. And, I go out and people come and see me and they say, well, I think about this. And I say, well, yeah, I don't know. I think I'd list it instead, And then there is some trends. You see the other situation where probably maybe it would sell better at auction. So, we just don't do straight auctions. we do a little both, as you know.
You also sell real estate too.
That's right. You and I are all in the same office here at Classic. And we do both, and it's just part of life.
If say I want to sell my house, I just want to sell out and move to Florida, say, which might not be a bad idea someday. But I call you, obviously. What's the process? How do you?
Well, first of all, you want to come take a look, see what it is, and like I said earlier, sometimes things need to be sold at auction, sometimes they don't, and so we just look at things. I guess the downward turn we're seeing right now is probably furniture a little bit, and so sometimes people think you can go do these little $5,000 sales, and it's pretty difficult anymore. You just can't do that. When I started, you did them all almost, right. And so that part's got to be a little tougher, I think, in the auction business now with that. But we just come and visit and so forth, and there's some times that I get sort of busy, and sometimes we end up listing the property. And I might share it with another person here in the office too, because then you got two agents working on it at the same time, and so that's a plus. So you just need to take a good look at it, and then we go from there.
Right. I know, Rick, I've been to not a lot of auctions, but a few auctions. And I never had luck buying anything. I couldn't even, as far as buying a shovel at an auction, I would have trouble. Should you be first or should you be last? What's your opinion on that? You first bidder or the last bidder?
I don't think it matters. I
guess you have to be the last bidder wins, but should you jump in first or should you wait?
There's been times when my kids was in livestock and we were showing livestock that I would just sit back and watch a little bit and see. And then get in. Yeah. We have other people that will just jump in right off the bat and they show, hey, we're going to try to buy this, and sometimes that may push someone away from bidding a little bit. That happens occasionally. So I don't know if there's a right or a wrong, to be honest.
I always
Randy.
wondered about that.
I don't think there is. I mean, just recent we had someone that started a piece of real estate off that at a higher bid than I thought it would start at. It still brought another $22,000 more than what it did, and I think that person was just thinking, well, let's get in here and maybe push everybody to the side. It didn't work, and he didn't get it.
I know auctions are fascinating. I always like going to them. You see all the crowds, and you see people bidding on items back and forth, and who knows what their motivation is, why they want that. But I've seen things go extremely cheap, and then others I think, oh my gosh, you could buy new for that. So it's just hard to predict an auction.
That is very true. That is very true. I think if you have nice stuff, regardless what it is, whatever you're selling, it'll bring what it's worth. Now, if you have something that's on the rough side, is the word I like to use, then sometimes it's not going to maybe bring what it should. But there's no rhyme or reason. You think, man, that there sold for $25 and I can go buy new for $15.
Right, I've seen that.
Or in turn, you see something, man, that only brought $5. That thing's like new.
Yeah.
I guess probably one of the biggest turn downs right now is probably TVs. You can't give a TV away unless it's really a nice flat screen. I mean, that's just what's going on at the present. So, you're absolutely right, Randy. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
And
we kind of have a thing here in the office. What something is worth to the penny is what someone will sell for it, and what someone will give them. That's what it's worth, whatever that number is.
Whatever that given day is, that is very true. And, sometimes with the auction things, if you have 2 or 3 siblings in the family and maybe mom and dad has passed or something, and especially if somebody wants something else, then sometimes it comes to the auctions, and you just sort of, whoever let the best man win, as the old saying is. So sometimes that happens, and that's some way to do that. And in the auction business, you have seen a little bit of everything. Yeah, I've seen some people almost come to blows. I've seen people hugging and happy and crying and cheerful and everything else. So it just happens that way. So it is something unique, but occasionally, Randy, it's unbelievable. Just recently had it. Someone said they'd never been to an auction before, and they were 40-some years old.
Really?
Now that's very strange to me. Very strange, but that happens also.
Sure. Well, Rick Williams, he's been in the auction business for a very long time. So if somebody wants to call you,